Well, hello there. Welcome back to Xtremetrades. This is Stephen Murray here with my second draft recording. The last one sort of went to pieces a bit in the final, and I'm disappointed I didn't record the next two I did, which went a little bit better, and I did more comical antics. And honestly, this pack is not very exciting. Um, there are only really a couple of ways to go about it, and nearly all the cards are specific to a specific art. Yeah, I can't speak today. All the cards are specific to an archetype. Bear is the way I want to go if I want to force poison. Rusted Relic and Glinthawk Idol are both really good in Metalcraft decks. Obviously, Glinthawks tends to be more specific to white Metalcraft decks. I guess you could make a case for trying to force a next roll tie deck, but that seems like a terrible plan. I think pack 1, I'm going to go with the Bear because I think the payoff of getting a good poison deck is way better. On the other hand, I'm not going to be married to the idea, especially since there aren't really well, there are a couple of okay poison cards here, but it's not like here's a good poison signal. Our options here are Razor Hippogriff, we got Galvanic Blast. I guess you could make an argument for Chrome Steed. And maybe Untamed Might as well if I was really going all in on poison, but I'm not that excited by archetype. The reason I didn't go for the Rusted Relic last time is that if I don't go Metalcraft, I'm not going to miss the Rusted Relic that much because you can pick up other 4-drops, but there's not that many cards that replace this bear in durability in a poison deck. Here I'm going to pick the Galvanic Blast since if I end up getting 4-star poison it's good, and I can still remain in poison with a red removal spell if I end up going that route. Here we don't really see any more poison cards again, which is unfortunate but not a big deal. Obviously I'd say that the big signal here is Volition Range if I would care to go into blue. I'm not really a big fan of going in blue unless I know I'm the only person drafting it, and then I can get all the choicest cuts, as it were. Volition Range is a pretty sweet card, however it does cost 6, so it's not really as good as it would normally be. It's half the time you end up having to steal like a Blight Mamba or something, and that's not the most efficient way to remove it. I'm also a big fan of Painsmith, being a cheap smith and all that. I'm gonna take the Volition Range despite my misgivings about it. Even though I possibly should have taken Painsmith there. And this is not a very exciting pack at all. It really isn't. And I need to sort of quickly try and focus my deck, otherwise I'm just going to end up with a pile of garbage, which is obviously not it's not really what you want to do when you're drafting. I did notice another couple of Cavaliers going past, and I have a certain amount of respect for the Cavalier equipment deck, as it did crush me in the last round of Volcom, and well, day one at least. And there's nothing else exciting here. I actually I wouldn't mind going the sort of really aggressive deck with the Cavalier. Like Soliton's not that exciting, even though it's an artifact guy. And if you get a bunch of Cavaliers and some random equipments, it's pretty good. Man, I'm just not excited about these packs here. However, a Trinket Mage has a lot of potential. I am a big fan of New York Replica. However, there's a potential for sort of combining Cavalier and sort of any random one cost equipment like life staffs with Trinket Mage to make that deck a lot more consistent than it would be if I was just playing some Gavaliers and some equipments. There's also Contagious in the pack, but that's been only the second poison guy I've seen. It's not even that good compared to the other ones, so I'm going to take Trinket Mage. Even though it's quite unusual for me not to have any artifacts at this point, even though I possibly should have some. This pack, again, I'm feeling quite happy about not taking any poison. Vector Asp is a really bad poison card. Strider Harness is not exactly an exciting all-star either, but it's an equipment and it does make some things pretty scary. When they're on low life, and even if all your guys die some way, they still can't just try and kill you as fast as they can, because if you have a Strider Harness, you can threaten lethal out of nowhere. Okay, there's a Volshok replica there, which is obviously a really good aggressive card. Daredevil is also aggressive, but it's not an artifact, and it only has 2 power. There's quite a lot of Volatile cards going around, and there's a Quarter Shield. You can make an argument for a Quarter Shield here since I've got a Trinket Mage, but I think I'd rather just get the replica, and I'm more likely to be able to pick up some other random equipment later. Here, I don't really like Golem Foundry. I've never played it at all. The only circumstances I would play it is if I was really, really, really heavy artifacts and had like a couple of Thrumming Birds and a couple of Contagion Clasps, and then maybe I'd be happy with it. But as it is, it's not very good. Blackleaves, again, a pretty unexcited poison guy, so I guess I'll take this guy because it's on cover and all the other ones are complete garbage. There's not too much to say about these ones again. Mostly unplayables. Well, I mean, you can play obviously the Nihil Spellbomb and Drosshopper in Furnace Celebration type decks. Flameborn Hellions, red. That's all I can say for it. I thought I'll go to take Nihil Spellbomb in case I end up having some black mana in my deck. Culling Deus I quite like. Bladed Pinions has been performing fairly well for me all around. I'm gonna go for this. Well, if I have some blue cards in my deck, I guess I might end up playing some plated Sea Strider. I certainly don't want any of the other cards. Assault Strobe. It's not exciting. Neither are any of these cards, but I think I'm more likely to be able to pass the Assault Strobe and have someone accidentally put it in their deck. Taking some random cards. Oh, sweet. Last big Golem's Heart. I'm going to start hiding some of the stuff I really don't want to play. A Precursor Golem. Okay, so despite how poorly this draft has gone so far for me, probably due to me recklessly picking the Despair pack one and not paying off, at least this guy is a real beating. If they don't have removal for it right away, he kills them really fast, so I'm definitely going to pick this. As for the rest of the cards, again, this is not a really exciting pack. There's quite a few cards for poison decks here. There's Corpse Cur and Carrion Call, Infiltration Lens if people have Tangle Anglers and all that sort of thing. I still think it's a bit overrated, but if you're poison and have some tangles, then it can definitely pull some games out. I'd say the next best card in the pack is that Perilous Mirror, unless of course you are poison. But as solid in every deck, but not as ridiculous as Precursor Golem when it goes unmolested. Here we have another Galvanic Blast, which I'm going to take because I have one already, and it's good removal. There's another Perilous Mirror, and various other mirrors, which not that exciting. So yeah, I mean the guy to our right did a pretty good job of cutting poison. I mean it seemed like a really unappealing deck to draft during pack 1, where I would have had like a Bearer and 2 bad poison guys, and a couple of like pinions and that sort of thing, but it's not really where we want it to be. In this pack, there's not a whole lot going for anything I would potentially drafting at the moment. I guess I could take, say, Silver Replica and splash for green, just for that disenchant. Clone Shell is a card I've been reasonably happy with, despite how underwhelming it looks on the surface. You just gotta look at it as like being mostly a cantrip with occasional upside and occasional downside of being not. I am going to take this Flight Spell Bomb since it's a cheap artifact and I can Trinket Mage and actually use it. So, in this pack, doesn't look like I'm going to be Gavaliering anyone, due to the fact that I haven't really seen any equipment worth putting on him other than that one Strider Harness. Our options here are Sky Eel School, Rustic. You could take Thrumming Bird, but we don't have any Tumble Magnets or anything like that. I really like Rustic. I've had a lot of good experiences with that because even despite the fact that it doesn't actually destroy anything, unlike most tappers, it does help you deal with things like Mimic Fat, Trigonal Corruption, all that sort of thing. Oh hey, that's quite a late Perilous Mirror. And obviously there's multiple poison cards going past us, which is fair enough. That will probably be able to support at least 2 poison drafters to our right, so hopefully maybe 2 or 3 people to our right. Well, maybe not 3, that's being a bit greedy, but maybe at least 2 people to our, just close to our right is taking poison. We'll be able to get some better Metalcraft stuff next pack, or at least decent blue cards. There's not a whole lot to say here. I mean, there's a Horizon Spellbomb I could go and search up. A Mirror Galvanizer's just a guy. I guess I might take this. It's pretty good if I just get to pick up a bunch of random artifacts. My deck needs something to interact with my opponent. Oh, there's a Silver Mirror, which is quite good because we don't really have any good plays on turn 2 yet other than Perilous Mirror. And even then, quite often you don't want to play Perilous Mirror right away because then they can use a removal spell on it to ensure that they only take 2 damage instead of getting 2 for 1. And that's a really Riddlesmith, which I'm going to be thankful for. I could potentially take Ledenmer, but Riddlesmith's pretty powerful. It helps me dig through all the terrible cards that I've drafted so far in order to get to the good ones. There's not a lot to say about these cards. Razorfield Thresher still too expensive. Golden Urn rather, is not exactly what I ever want to play, but if needs must, and I end up getting a bunch more Metalcraft stuff, then I can run it. I don't really want to play a bunch of Heartstokers, and I'm not really wanting to mill people with Soul Claw either. Hey, that's a really late Bearer. Well, I guess that's a gift for the guy to my right, because I will be taking the Darksteel Sentinel at this point.